Hi garden friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Era and this is Gardening on Purpose. I garden in Georgia, Zone 8A. For today's video, I'll be giving you a mid-January tour. The snow is melting really fast from that little snowstorm that we got the other day, and a couple of things are poking out the ground, so let's check them out. First up is the snow. It is melting really fast, guys. Half of the yard, most of the yard actually, looks like there was no snow. There's no sign of snow on probably 90% of my property, but then there's still remnants, especially right here, and I think it's because right here we get part shade to shade in the winter. So you can see it right here, all around here in the backyard. It's pretty much gone in the front yard, and I'll show you that a little bit later. But in the containers, there's still some remnants of snow right here. And then going into the screened-in porch, and the rest of the containers has snow over here too. And also in the bird baths and the feeders, they're still holding on to a little bit of snow. But the majority of the yard is pretty much clear. I came out here and I checked on the plants that I planted recently. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I planted a bunch of shrubs in the last 2 weeks, and they seem to be doing fine. A lot of them I covered with containers. So here's a newly planted plant. This is a Bayou Bliss Distilium right here. That was recently planted. These daisies were recently transplanted. They should be fine. They're pretty tough. I have another Bayou Bliss right here. It doesn't look like any damage. But again, the thing about plants and getting damaged, they don't really show up right away. So I'm just waiting to see if there's any real damage come spring and next summer. But either way, I think they're fine because these guys are all pretty hardy. Any plant that I planted was hardy from, in zones 4, 5, 6, 7. I didn't plant anything that was zone 8 that would be susceptible to the cold that was coming. Here are some recently planted shrubs again. This is the Diamond Spire Gardenia. Looks quite fine to me. I don't see any damage anywhere. I did cover these with a recycle pot, and then I also covered these azaleas here. This is the Autumn Twist. That is the Autumn Majesty here, and I believe this is the Autumn Starburst right here, and they all look fine. All 6 of them were recently planted within the last week actually. And then again, some more Autumn Majesties right here that look fine. The rest of the yard, I don't think I planted anything. Actually, yes, I did. Let's check on the Clayeras. So I recently planted 3 Clayeras and 2 mood ring podocarpus. So here are the 2 mood rings, and a close-up doesn't show me any damage. And then the difference with the Clayera, I'm seeing that the leaves are a little curled up. So these were the newest foliage that came out. So they will be susceptible. But they look like it's just a little bit frizzled up. They don't look like the plant is dying or anything. But again, I won't know until the season really gets into the swing of things. I also transplanted some of these spring-only azaleas here. This is, I believe, the Joanna azaleas, and again, I won't know. So that is the backyard of recently planted things, and that is the backyard showing you the snow and the fact that it's pretty much almost gone, right? But one of the exciting things I noticed is that we have some guys that are poking out. Now, they have been poking out a little bit, but I did not realize that these guys are so tough. These are Blue Magic Dutch irises. I had bought these either from Walmart or Home Depot or Lowe's. I don't remember which one. Planted these last year. They bloomed the first year and they were beautiful. And they never really went to sleep. Like, the foliage is still here. Even through the snow, they poked it up. You would never think that we were under 2 inches of snow the other day because these Dutch irises are out and ready to do something about it. I did not realize that they were so tough, but I have a line here of them that I didn't even know where to put because I had bought so many bulbs, and I have them at other places in the yard too, and they're all doing this. Here are some more Dutch irises around this nightlight Camellia cyperus that I have here, that even through the snow, guys, I'm just so impressed with them. I had cut down my roses, so there's nothing really here to report here. On this side of the fence, everybody else is looking fine. They're even evergreen. They're either an evergreen or something that lost its leaves, or it's a rose, and they look quite fine to me. Nothing to report here. On the back end of this bed here is where I began to see this, guys. This, I believe, is hyacinth. When I first started gardening here, I was just buying bulbs. I didn't really pay attention to a lot of things that I was doing. I didn't really know a lot about what I was doing. I just wanted to buy things that were pretty. But then I realized that hyacinths don't come back reliably for us here in Georgia Zone 8A. So I kind of dug them up and kind of chucked them to the side, but they kept showing up, so just left them alone. So this one here is, I believe, is a purple hyacinth, and those are coming up all over the place. And then even more bulbs are coming up here. And what I believe to be daffodils are these guys here. Now, you know daffodils come out really early, and I'm pretty sure that's them right here. Over here, I believe, are some more irises. And even further over here, even more irises, guys. But I know at first when I had bought those daffodils, I didn't really fall in love with the daffodils, and I dug some of them up. But the guys, it's like you can't get rid of daffodils. Once they're in their yard, they want to stay. And after a while, I came around to them, and I ended up buying even more daffodils to put in that ditch garden over there. So I'm excited to see what that does come February, March, because that's when the daffodils are going to bloom. But all these beautiful bulbs between the daffodils and the irises, I'm really excited to see. Now, we are nowhere close to spring, right? So, I'm not going to get excited. We are in January. It is our coldest month. We will be getting even more cold, and that will affect whether or not these bloom early or whether or not they bloom later, or if they get damaged or whatever it ends up being. But I was excited to see those things poking out the ground. I also checked on my conifers. These are recently planted as well in the last couple of weeks. My juniper, my forever goldie, they look fine. I planted a whole bunch of them. Now, I know that these guys do look a little bit ratty in the winter, and especially mine because it is recently planted. I'm really hoping that these guys come through for me in the spring. My Blue Point juniper looks great. You guys, these are tough, and these are reliable for us here in the South because they can take the heat. One thing they don't like is wet feet, so I definitely want to put them up higher than the soil grade, and you also want to put them where it doesn't stay wet all the time. Look at that beautiful Nandina. This guy turns red in the winter, guys. It is gorgeous. When I got these on clearance from Lowe's, they were half green and maybe a little maroon, but now they are such a fiery red. They're in part sun. They're in the sun until around 2 o'clock, and ever since the temperature went all the way down, these guys have been turning up the color, guys. Look at how beautiful this is. Look how red that is, guys. If you're looking for an evergreen that takes part sun and turns these beautiful colors, get you some Obsession Nandina. These I had gotten at Lowe's on clearance for $12 in a 2.5 gallon. A couple of months ago, I planted these guys here. These German bearded irises were bought in a rhizome form. I didn't buy the plant itself. These, I saw them, I believe, at Lowe's, and they had all different types. They had these beautiful purples, they had these beautiful yellows, they had these blues and whites, and I was so excited. I bought all those bulbs. I actually did a video for them, and they started coming out. They put on foliage. Now, whether or not they're going to bloom this year, I don't know, but that's fine though. I love irises enough, and I have enough irises. I already have like a white iris, and then these I bought in the plant form 2 years ago. And those are a beautiful, deep, decadent purple that I absolutely love. So these should definitely rebloom because they bloomed twice already for me since I bought them. And not sure if these are going to bloom, but it's not a big deal if they don't. Also, what I want to show you is this bed here, still a work in progress. Still haven't taken out the baby gem that I keep talking about because I don't know what to do and I have nothing to put there right now. I just don't want to go around digging up stuff if I don't have somewhere to put something or if I don't have something in mind to put there to replace it. Also in the backyard, guys, are these guys here. I have my beautiful lyrope that they seem to be laying down a lot because they've been getting beat up, but they're going to perk back up. They're fine. And then I have some hookerers right here. They're fine too. And then some more fashion azaleas back here that get the part sun. Now I'm noticing that these two azaleas here, these are, I think it was Delaware. I'll put the name on the screen when I figure it out. Actually, no, it's right here. Huh. Delaware Valley White Azalea. And for whatever reason, they did not make it this year. Not sure if this area further down here is a little bit too wet for them, but they slowly lost all their leaves, and I kept forgetting to take care of it and remove it, but it ended up just completely, I think it's dead, because it's supposed to be an evergreen, and if I click this, and yep, it's gone. So that will open the space for something I need to put here actually. So I'm not really torn up about it, except the fact that I wish that I had moved that plant before it completely died. And then another exciting thing, guys, are these guys here, hellebores. After the snow melted, this is what I saw, and I'm very excited. Now, this is an evergreen for me here. Although the older foliage gets tattered, what I'm going to do, once this begins to really grow, this new foliage here, I'm going to cut these older guys off and give this chance to completely start really getting vigor and growing. So here's one here. This, I believe, is Fire and Roses, or is Ice and Roses. I think it's Ice and Roses I got from Home Depot. And I did a video when I bought it. It was my first hellebore ever in the yard, and I had two of them. Right? They're both Ice and Roses, I keep saying it, but I think that's what it is. And they were $19.99, and I kept waiting on Lowe's, hoping that Lowe's will have something. And Lowe's didn't have them until later on in the season. And then when Lowe's got them, Lowe's were a different type. They were smaller, and they were the same $19.99. So I was happy that I ended up buying the ones from Home Depot. You're not going to get these on clearance. Well, for me, I'm not going to get these on clearance because they come too late in the season, and people do love these things. People pay serious money for these things, but I only have a few of them. So look at the beautiful blooms, guys. So here's one coming out right here, and here's another one coming out right here. They are not scared of the cold at all. They are not scared. It's like bring on the cold, according to the hellebore, also known as Lenten Rose. Now I have some other ones here that I bought when I went to my county's annual spring sale last year. I don't know the names of these, but they look like they're going to actually bloom for me, and I'm really happy about that. I bought these last April. So you can see the bloom right here. I think that's what's going to come out for this one. And then another one over here. You can see it right in there somewhere. Right there. Right there. So I'm happy about that. I have a third one, but that doesn't look like anything's going to happen here. It might be in too much sun, but let me just go closer up. Actually, it might be planted a little bit too deep. I might have overmulched that, but I'll take care of it. So that's exciting. You know, we are in the middle of January, and I'm seeing what is considered flowers. Nothing much going on in the side yard either. You know, it's just a bunch of evergreens. I have my azaleas. I have my wintergreen boxwoods. The only thing that's showing flowers is something that's supposed to be showing flowers, and it's the beautiful Shishi Gashera Camellia. This again was a clearance plant from Lowe's, and it got zapped by the cold, guys. This was churning out flowers, churning them out, and then it got really, really cold, even before we got the snow, and it got really, really cold, and it kind of like beat up the buds. You see the buds right there, and then here are the flowers. and I love their foliage. They're really, really nice for foliage. These are japonicas, which means that they bloom in the fall and early spring. And I really, really like these because they bloom somewhere. They bloom a time when nothing else is blooming. I might actually move them because they're too far for me to see. Like here we are in January, and I have to walk to the side here just to see them. And I want to be able to get more out of them than just having to walk so far to see them. So those are blooming. Another thing that I've been up to is that I actually expanded this shade area here and brought some bigger, better rocks to line it out to make it meet the other rocks on the other side of the driveway. So as you know, this area here is where, well, if you've been following me for a while, you know this is where I have most of my hostas, my heucheras, my lungworts, my ferns, my carex grass, all kinds of stuff is in here, and it's not much to look at in the winter, but I'm definitely going to make a change. Another thing is that I will be cutting this tree down. This one here, it's leaning towards my house, and whenever we get a storm, I get really angsty about it. And also, it drops a lot of branches, and on the car, on the yard, all kinds of stuff. And plus, it doesn't look that healthy. So I'm gonna make a decision either between now and March to cut that tree down. I think I might be able to get a good price if I don't wait until it becomes springtime and they want to charge you an arm and a leg just to cut a tree down. And then on the other side of the yard, again, this is where the other rocks, I want to line them up to make it look like a more cohesive transition from one side of the yard to another. Still in progress of adding those rocks, trying to make a design. Not sure where I'm just trying to make a design. I'm going to get as much free rocks as I can, and then I'm going to go buy the landscape rocks to fill it in. But that's, again, a project that will take months, actually. And then finally, doesn't look like really, really great here, but I've made a decision to pull a few things out. If you remember, I had most of those. Those are Florida Sunshine Elysiums. They need to be pruned. That's the fact. But I didn't want to prune them back because I definitely want to try to propagate some of it. And I moved the most of them that were actually on this side of the house, and then I moved 2 false hollies and put them right here. So I have a space. When I also move this one, I'm going to have a space for 2 other chartreuse shrubs. I'm also going to take all those ajugas out because I put them there not too long ago, but I'm realizing when the leaves fall on them, and if you don't move those leaves fast enough, those things are going to look ratty. I'm going to move them and probably put some corabels there, but again, that's another day. But otherwise, this is the front yard. Absolutely no sign of snow anymore. It was really exciting. Now, I've seen snow pretty much, living up in the north. Snow is not a big deal. Snow is not fun. Snow is not anything like that. But down when you move to Georgia and you're not accustomed to getting snow, it was really exciting. I did a whole video about the snow and how deep it was and how I protected it and everything. But otherwise, this is what my yard is looking like in the middle of January. Let me know what you guys think. Please like, please share, please subscribe. Remember, hit that notification bell so you can be alerted on all my new videos. I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.